drug abuse, cancer.
Good evening once again, folks, and welcome to our live doctorate call. First, let me apologize for the late start. I'm sure you are aware that we had an extremely long obituary, so we do apologize for that. Of course, as you can understand, we do have lots of obligations that we need to meet, but nevertheless, we are here, and of course, Dr. Nixon is with me, and of course, we'll be having our program. So again, we apologize for the late start. All right. So this evening we will be talking on a number of issues. Of course, we are in the Carnival season, and we know how many of us can get a little out of control, to put it very raw. Yeah, we tend to don't pay serious attention to a lot of the things that we do, and so that can land us in a little problem. So we'll be talking about some of these things this evening. Dr. Nixon, good evening and welcome back.
Good evening. Where have you been?
Well, where have you been?
I've been around. Good evening, Grenada. It's great to be here, even on this fabulously rainy night. No rain, no food. Let the rain fall.
Oh, I wasn't even aware it was raining.
It's raining quite heavily, actually, where I am.
Oh, boy, yes.
And when the rain falls, it don't fall on one-man house.
That's true. So, Doc, we're already late. So, we're in the Carnival season. And already we are seeing a lot of activities happening. A lot of the shows are taking place. And we're there. In fact, I think tomorrow evening will be the Queen Show. Yes, yeah, yes, indeed, and a lot of big shows taking place, and of course, people are out and about, having fun
and coming in.
Yes, coming in, having fun, and probably not paying as close attention as they normally do, and so I think it's important that we remind people that your health is very important and you need to pay attention. And sometimes the little things that you miss or you probably just let slide just might land you in a little trouble. Doc?
So it's Carnival, and it's not just Carnival, it's a time when a lot of people visit. It's family time. This is one of our bigger family time for visits. People come in now and they come in at Christmas. And the truth is, people haven't traveled a whole lot in the last 2 years.
That's true.
We haven't had Carnival since 2019. And then came bad boy COVID that kind of clipped everybody's wings and kept us isolated for a whole while. Last year we had some unplanned form of COVID, of Carnival. Mm-hmm. People went out and paid jab and, old mans, whatever they wanted on Monday and Tuesday, much to our detriment. In a matter of 6 weeks, we actually lost 200 people, to be exact.
Indeed.
To COVID, which had been hanging around and just lurking for an opportunity to jump out and say, aha, I catch you. And these events are called, these mass events, okay? And they can be planned or they can be spontaneous, but in these times you have people gathering, a substantial amount of people gathering, in places that might create certain strain on our population, right? And as a result of you can have things happen, not just catching diseases, but you can catch diseases too, mm-hmm. right? And so the strain comes on the health system, right? Comes on the health system to kind of mitigate, to fix up, to take care of whatever these things are that may happen in society. So whether it is that you have parts in the cow pen and rainfall and people fall down or stage fall and people get injured, right? Or you have big accidents on the road, somebody speeding, multiple car accidents, or I don't know, rain falling, you can have landslides and people don't know they're going home from party and people get injured and God forbid die, right? And the other thing is that these things are happening in places where some places are actually prepared to host events, some places it's just a one-off. Okay, so you might decide you're having a party on the cliff over the airport, I'm just saying, and you have to put in all the amenities. right? Or you can go into the stadium where they already have bathrooms, security, blah blah blah, and they have to put up a stage. Some places you don't have to put up a stage. It might be Queen Show at Spice Basket, where there's already a stage, there's already seating, there's bathrooms, there whatever it is, there's security at the gate. And the crowd might behave a little differently from a party, a group that's out there ramaging. So there are lots of dynamics in this whole time, and we really have to be aware. And all I'm going to ask everybody is just to be aware. Everybody, I'm telling you, responsible for yourself on this one. And if you have children, kiddies Carnival Monday, Tuesday, Juve, I don't care. You're in the country watching, shortly pass in front of your house, you're still responsible for the presence of your children and above all for their safety. We want to really come out of this tunnel of what we think is fun and enjoyable moments, and everybody's okay. But also remember that some of us are not necessarily going in there young and happy and without responsibility. We have financial responsibilities to ourselves, so be careful how you're spending your money. I'm going to come to talk about this again. And we have responsibility for our health. Some of us already have challenges to our health, hypertension, diabetes, whatever it is, complications. And people often stop to take the medication because they want to drink too juice, season, and they want to do that. But I just reminding everybody, tell your children, tell your friends, tell everybody who may not hear this tonight, that everybody is actually responsible for themselves this round and the following round, and you're responsible for the children and whoever. Some of us actually have seniors that we care for. Yes. You have to give her a tea before you go and play jab in the morning. Give her a tea, please. Make sure and change her pampers. Make sure that the house is safe. Make sure you turn the lamp. Make sure you don't leave candle and lamp lighting for your children to wake up in the night. And by God's, please don't leave the children alone in the house. If you can't find someone to babysit your children, or they can't go to a relative, then you have to miss this party. Trust me, there'll be a next one exactly like it or better next year. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of things we have to take into consideration. First of all, self, family, and then we have to try and understand. We'll understand tonight how the health system has to prepare for all of this. Already, we haven't had no big sort of carnival or anything yet, and already the hospital is full. So we're asking you, please don't get sick. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's that you mentioned this. I recall, in fact, we had one death at the launch of Carnival in St. Andrew. There was a stabbing, yes, and
the young man got killed.
Yes, one man lost his life. And these are the kind of things that can happen when people are not conscious of what is happening around them and what they're doing. So and I want us to sort of break it down and sort of itemize them in a way and sort of show people how they can actually cause harm, even thinking that, look, I'm at the expense of having fun. So Doc, I want us to start with one. In all these activities, people want things to eat because they're fetting, they're jumping, they're gonna be tired, they're gonna be hungry, and the easiest thing is the chicken and the fries. And folks, I'm not saying this to come down on anyone. Of course, we know that people have to make a living, they do their things, and I have absolutely no problem with that at all. But a lot of times these fast foods, they're not the best for our health.
So I want to support you on this, Godfrey, especially in relation to look, this is a time for enterprising. Everybody wants to make a look of money. We have to send our children back to school, blah, blah, blah. And look, it's time to make money because we really have not been, economically it's been quite challenging. A lot of people have lost their jobs. I embrace people making use of the opportunities, especially for financial well-being at this time. However, everything you do has to come with responsibility.
Yes.
You're not allowed to sell food if you don't have a food handler's permit. A food handler's permit is available from the Ministry of Health, the Environmental Health Department downstairs on the first floor of the ministry. It says that, look, I, Sonia Nixon, I'm healthy enough, right? I've gone through the rigorous testing, and I'm healthy enough to make sure that I can give you food and you can close your eye, eat it, and don't expect to have diarrhea, vomiting, or get any form of food poisoning. In other words, I'm trained and I'm certified to provide you with a meal. You and the 10,000 people who want to come to my stall, come one, come all, because I'm good. Right? It is a responsibility vendors have to the rest of the population. and especially unsuspecting people. So if you cook chicken from yesterday and it never sell, well, it's too bad. You're going to have to give the dog that because you're going to have to prepare new chicken for today. So what you do for Juve morning and whatever it is not good for Tuesday. Sorry. Okay? You have to ensure that you have proper storage for your food. And if you have gone through your training, the people at the Environmental Health Department, or we used to call it sanitary inspectors, they will tell you exactly, right, what temperature you need to store your food at, what temperature you need to make sure it's maintained at on the street, when food no longer is good for consumption by a lot of people, how to handle it. Make sure that you have gloves when you're serving food. If you're serving food, you can't take money from the people. You have to cover your mouth. You can't be coughing over the food, etc., etc. Because a lot of diseases are passed on. Especially if you want to talk about diseases like TB and other things that are passed on by droplets. COVID, we still have COVID in the air. Please wear your mask if you're going to see 150 people come to your store in the next 2 hours. Because the truth is they're breathing something straight in your face or you in theirs that you don't really want to share. Last year, for example, at Carnival, there was a lot of talk about, Carnival didn't cause COVID. I don't. COVID came from outside, but guess what? We all went in the same place, all 10,000 and 20,000 of us, and mix up and spread the thing. So Carnival was the environment in which it proliferated. It got spread from person to person, simply because we didn't take the precautions that we needed to take to prevent us from getting COVID. But this year, we're brighter than that, so we're going to protect ourselves. This year, we understand what it is to lose 200 people in 6 weeks in a place that's 133 square miles. We understand what it is to one family to lose 3 and 4 members of the family over a short period of time, simply because, we spread COVID unintentionally, I think, for the most part, but it happened, and it was very, very hard on our population. It did dampen how we felt about ourselves. It did dampen how a lot of people felt about Carnival, and people who don't normally go out and enjoy Carnival weren't exactly accepting. So we need to know. So, in relation to food in particular, you have to make sure that the person, you can come to my stall if you see me selling cooked food on the road, right? If I'm selling drinks, maybe not. But if I'm selling rice and peas and chicken and fries and all the rest of it, the things that are prepared on a daily basis, you can ask me, may I see? It's supposed to be displayed. My food handler's permit, which is current, right? Because it must be up to date. It must be valid for the time in which you see it, because the Ministry of Health and specifically the Environmental Health Department does say, hey, he's good. You can have food from him, okay? And you're expected to follow the rules, right? You're expected to follow the rules that you learn, just for the safety and the enjoyment of all of us. So that's one responsibility, both by the provider and the person who goes to buy food. Ask, may I see a food handler's permit? Trust me.
Okay.
Who has it not cannot sell you food. Don't let me give you any cock and bull story either, because the truth is, the rule is that the person must present it. If it's not displayed, they must present it on demand.
Right,
okay?
Right.
So that's food.
Fantastic. Food. Another thing I wanted to just mention, and I spoke about the fried stuff, because you have a lot of that around this time, and I just want to advise people, especially I went to an event some time ago, and I was looking at someone who was doing their vending, same kind of the chicken with the fries and stuff like that. And when you take these fries and so from the oil and you put it in a container, all that oil drips and it remains there, and then you sell it and people consume that. It is not very good for people. So I just want to advise vendors, they can help. So you can get your paper towels and stuff like that. You can line your containers so it can absorb some of the oil, and that in itself is a form of helping, So
oil make food sweet. You have to admit it, okay? But
yes.
You have to understand that we also have to be responsible to our consumers. And consumers must also know that they're responsible for themselves.
That's right.
If you go to the store and so much oil, say, look, I don't want so much oil, right? I don't want so much oil. I'm sorry, I'm going to go to somebody else. And if 5 people tell the vendor that, she will fix it. He or she will fix it, promise me.
Yeah.
So people have to be aware of what they deserve. And you deserve to have well-prepared, tasty, of course, right? But healthy food, safe food. Okay.
That's right. That's right. The drinks, of course, that's a big thing, and we can talk about that one for the rest of the day.
The rest of the week.
Yes.
But okay, let's start with the most innocuous of drinks, and the most important, water. Water is still the best option for a drink when you're on the road, or a rehydrating drink like coconut water and some of the sports drinks. But remember that sports drinks have a lot of sugar. Okay, that's what gives you the energy. All right. But if you're up and down on the road dancing and having fun, a little bit of sugar mightn't be a big problem. If you stand up watching Carnival with your arms folded, I would advise you not. Okay, because especially if you already have diseases like diabetes and hypertension, where you really want to control what your blood glucose is like. All right. So, water is your best subject, your best option. The truth is, you can get water from several sources. You can bring your own water if you want, or you can buy water. And we have decent water. I haven't heard of any foodborne disease related to bottled water in Grenada yet. So we're probably good so far. Make sure that it's properly sealed bottles and people are not coming pretending, giving you water that just puts into a thing and they think everybody's too drunk to recognize that this is not a sealed bottle of water. So make sure you have a clean bottle. And please, when you finish drinking water, put the bottle in a container.
That's right.
Pure Grenada. We're keeping it clean this Carnival, everybody. Remind your children when they're going out, you go buy stuff, find the garbage can and put your bottles. Let's look like nice people because we are. Okay?
And
let's keep
in addition to that, Doc, when we use these bottled drinks and if we don't dispose of it properly, remember we are in the rainy season. These bottles, they will collect water, and of course when they collect water, you know what's going to happen. You're creating a place for mosquitoes to breed. Where you have mosquitoes breeding, you can have dengue, you can have all of these things. Definitely. So you can see how all of these things can lead to health problems. So even if you probably drank water, which is good for you, let's say as compared to an alcoholic drink, but if you did not dispose of the bottle properly, then there are risks as well, because it can collect, and of course problems can arise.
So that's drinking water. I want to talk in relation to water and our children who play Carnival, and I say this every year. Children, the little bodies, if they lose an ounce of water through their skin, and we do because it's really hot. I mean, tonight I came in and it was so hot, I didn't know that I would survive to this hour because it's so very hot, and I have all my windows open. This year is really very hot. Children lose a lot of water through their skin. Carnival usually has less than proper covering, so children, have on skimpy outfits, not necessarily too skin, but they have on, outfits that tend to expose their skin. They're in the sun, they stand for a long time for bands to go through. We have kiddies Carnival, right? Or even if they're just watching Carnival, please make sure that your children are getting fluids constantly. Please. The little bodies can't stand things that could cause them like heat strokes and all the rest that can be ultimately lethal if it's not managed properly. All right? So please make sure your children get a lot of fluids on the road and stay close to them. But we're going to come back to the personal safety in a little while. All right? So that's children and water. And we can give them juice if they're dancing and run up and down. That is not going to kill them for one day. And if they have, if they don't have challenges with the management of their blood sugar. The other things, we drink a lot of sugar-sweetened beverages generally, and that includes drinking malt. People think that malt is a healthy drink. It feels thick in your mouth, but it's just sugar-sweetened water with a taste of barley. Okay? Malt has a lot of sugar. That is why it's so nice. What's the other thing? Lucozade. Lucozade is really sugar and water.
Yep.
And while they have, in the last 3 or 4 years, decreased the amount of glucose per 100 cc's of Lucozade, it still have a lot of sugar. It doesn't have as much as the others, like the other bottled beverages, aerated beverages like Coca-Cola and stuff that we have. But those drinks have a lot of sugar. So I'm telling people, we have a lot of people with diabetes who live in Grenada, who come in to visit. Guess what? Those things don't take vacation. And as a matter of fact, they're really glad that you're giving them so much sugar so they can, your body, so they can do whatever they want and continue to damage yourself. So please remember that those sugar sweetened drinks are not necessarily the best thing to have if you're trying to keep yourself properly watered, hydrated. Okay, coconut water is excellent because if you lose some of your electrolytes to your skin, you would get it back through coconut water. All right, but please avoid the sugar sweetened drinks as far as possible. I'm not saying not to have one for the day or two if you're dancing up and down a lot, but that should not be what you're consuming all day long. Okay? Alcohol. I will repeat my sentence that I've said every year for the past 6 years. You cannot empty the vat at Westerhall, no Renegade, no, what's the next one? River and Twine. No, next big one, Westerhall and Clark's Court. Trust me, they can produce enough alcohol for the next year. The importance is, yes, you want to have alcoholic drinks, be very modest in what you consume. Because alcohol is basically sugar, okay? If you have diabetes, it's going to put you out of control. It will. You don't want to be drunk, which puts you at risk for a whole lot of other things. Not the least of which is physical, sexual abuse, just abuse. People rob you. They touch you when inappropriately. They disrespect you. And I've seen, like I said, the women who get drunk or who not sufficiently sober to have control over their bodies.
Yes.
Right? It is not a pleasant thing to see, and I think it's even worse to experience. And I'm going to ask friends to look out for your friends if somebody gets a little tipsy on the way, you put them in the middle of the crowd so that they're protected from the rest of the people, because most people play Carnival with their friends, all right, or on the road with their friends. So please avoid overconsumption of alcohol. And overconsumption is anything that make your head feel like a little light. So that is usually a drink and a half or two. Okay? Yes, you can have a drink. You can have a drink, but you can keep a drink and top it up with water or top it up with ice and keep yourself nice and high. If you're feeling sweet, but not drunk, not too sweet to fall on the ground. So be very careful with alcohol. Be careful also who you take alcohol from. Be very careful who gives you a drink. Don't accept open drinks from people whom you do not know or may not be able to trust. And that is why it's important for you to be sober. Someone's going to say, hey, girlfriend, you look nice in that costume. I like it. I like to see your hip. You have a nice, sexy belly. You want a drink? You take the drink. You don't even know him and Adam, and you don't want to put into the drink. All right? And boys, please, ease up on that kind of behavior, please. All right? So for your own safety, be careful with the consumption of alcohol. Please take your medications. You have hypertension, you have diabetes. This is not the week or the month to not take your medication. We do not have space at the general hospital. We do not have enough staff. We do not have enough ambulances. We don't have nothing that is enough to take up anything beyond what we have today. And what we have today, when there's no crisis, we still have difficulty managing. One of our main health providers in the country has been ill and out of the country. He's the one that manages a lot of the chronic problems. Guess what, guys? We don't want to stress a health system that is already walking on crutches. All right? Because what you're going to do is put a health system in ICU. We can't afford for that to happen. Please take your hypertension medications. Please take your diabetes medications and any other medications that you ask to take regularly, whether it's for your thyroid, whether it's for your cancer, whether it's for your glaucoma. I don't care. Please take your medications, right? You don't have to drink so much that you cannot take your medications. And if you have medication, it means that you really just can't drink a lot. That's just a simple thing. Come and have some nice sober fun, because you don't want to end up home in a box. Because too many people come here and end up going back to where they come from, or just staying home and not able to leave because they're really gone to the other side. Right? We really want everybody to have a good time. So.
Yes, indeed. Also, Doc, while we on drinks, people consume alcohol, and then there's the combinations where they add things to drinks and probably think, it is a way of probably causing them not to get drunk or not to get drunk too fast.
Like what?
Well, maybe rum and coke or rum and coconut water or something like that. And there are mixed drinks, and I believe that there's some misconceptions there, Doc.
Absolutely, because if you're drinking rum and coke, sometimes you don't even measure how much rum you put into the coke. Okay, so eventually become really rum, but a little bit of coke somewhere. You know that when they mix drinks, right? Notice when you go to a bar or a restaurant and they mix drinks, right? Mm-hmm. They pour in the stuff, right? Whatever they mix, and then they pour the alcohol on top. So when you taste it, you taste the alcohol, but there's not a lot of alcohol in there. You already had the flavor of the alcohol, and the bottom is just the coke and the coconut water. But what we do, we sometimes mix it on the street when we just having party. We become a little disinhibited, and the more we consume, the more disinhibited we become and end up consuming too much. So be very careful with that. And I agree with you. The mixing of the drinks can be a challenge. You lose count of just how much alcohol you have consumed if you just mix it. Like you have like my cup here. You don't know what size it is. You say, my drink look low, but then you have 200 ml of drink in here, but you add more stuff to it. Be very careful with that. Be very, very careful how you do that.
Yes, indeed. And also, when you mix drinks, does it reduce the amount of alcohol that you're taking in?
No. Whatever you put in the cup is what you drink.
Right. Well, and yeah, because these are things people need to understand.
If you understand the pathways of alcohol, right? I learned from some of my friends who drink a lot, and I never seen them drunk. And I asked them, "What's the story here?" So what they do, those guys eat a meal that has a lot of. You go up near the rum shop that have meat and protein,
salvage and thing. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those guys will eat stew peas with pigtail, the fat pigtail, have a fatty meal, and they sit and they drink for the whole night and nobody gets drunk. It doesn't mean that all the faculties are in place, like the reflexes are up to point and they necessarily seen straight, but there's no drunken falling down because they take a solid meal first. And that's what I think. If you want to drink even a little bit, have something in your stomach before, because there's also the secondary effects of drinking too much where your stomach gets sick. You can get alcoholic gastritis, right? Your stomach gets inflamed because you have consumed so much, and so many different things. There's so many different things makes you get a worse hangover the next morning. Okay?
But the salt alcohol combination, because there are people who think, okay, so and I've seen men do that. They drink in rum and then they use all the salt and they believe this is going to
roast smoke iron.
Right, things like that. Mm-hmm. And they do believe that if they do that, it would probably maybe slower the drunken effect
of the alcohol, right?
But salt in itself is
another challenge.
Exactly.
And I think we can talk this in the context that we talk about what to drink and what to eat. Now, people who sell food on the street sell salty food because it tastes nice. Right? Salty food is tasty. It have a little bite in the flavor when you taste it, right? You have a plate of oil on or rice and peas, a little extra salt. Even if it's not nicely seasoned, salt is the most common food flavoring used. But if you use it in large amounts, larger than normal amounts, it makes the food taste like I love this. Okay. People have to understand that is what they're going to get on the street. So when you go to consume food, figure out what kind of salt is in here. You might want to share a boxed meal with somebody instead of consuming all the salt that comes in the boxed meal, that you actually give somebody half of it. Be very, very careful. And like you say, the men who drink and they roast the saltfish and they roast the
smoke ring and all of that. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, or they eat out of fried jacks. And the lady who's selling the rum, have a little shop selling the rum, and she fry the jacks dry, but it's salty, you know, and they just push that in their mouth, and then they take the drink behind to cut the taste of the salt in their mouth, and everybody feels bad. And then they need a next one because they have to control the alcohol, how the alcohol works on them, and you get into this vicious cycle. People have to be cognizant of what. You have to just be aware of the things. I'm not telling people not to have fun. I want to see people have fun, especially since we've been so locked down for such a long time. But I want to see us have safe fun. Does that make any sense to you? Be safe and make it easy on the health system.
I think maybe people need to understand that they do not need to be intoxicated to have fun. To me, the best fun you can have is when you have all your faculties together, as the people would say.
And you know what you do.
And you know what you're doing, and you don't have to regret. You don't have to regret. Tomorrow.
Any stories that you may hear, true or otherwise.
Exactly. So it's very important. Yes, you can have your fun, but
okay. So the other thing in relation to that is having fun, and being able to recognize what's happening. There are people who come here and they're on vacation, so they could party every night and sleep every day. But the rest of us have to work. Some people take vacation during the time of Carnival. Be careful of burning yourself out, breaking down your immune system, putting yourself at risk for things that are out there that normally wouldn't bother you. Getting the flu, because there's usually some outbreak of the flu right after Carnival. One, because of the proximity. Two, because our immune systems are busted. Drink enough. We don't eat properly. We partying every day. We don't sleep. You know, we up and down. We're trying to grab as much of the happiness, the playfulness as possible. But in truth and in fact, your body not accustomed to that kind of show. Right? So it makes you, whereas you may have met somebody and don't get COVID because last week you were good, by end of Carnival, your body's so mashed up that you don't even have to pass into the COVID virus to get sick. Here, Godfrey have COVID and call him and get it and kill it.
That's right. Yeah. No, somebody say COVID and you get sick.
I know. The other thing is that, look, when especially for a woman, when you become so drunken, so it doesn't take a lot for you to lose your inhibitions and your ability to make decisions. You had rape, and the sexual crimes, they're probably not reported, but if you're sober and you choose to have sexual intercourse with a partner, male or female, I don't care. Any two people choose to have intercourse. If you're sober, there's decisions you can make. Yes or no. First of all, no, we're not having sex. Yes, okay. So that consenting. But then there's the issue of, using protection. I don't know you. Why would I want to have sex with you? That kind of stuff. Those decisions, those constant decisions, those conscious decisions that we can make to preserve our sexual well-being. If you're inebriated, you kind of don't really know how to care because you've lost that capacity to make a very well-placed decision for your life, okay? That informed decision that, it's John and me, we're gonna have some fun, it's Carnival, we're good. Do you have a condom? Do you understand me? So I fear for that inhibition and that lack of capacity to make good decisions, right, during this time. That can bring not only sexually transmitted, but you can also have violent sexual encounters, which is traumatic, and you can have pregnancies.
Yes, indeed.
It must be something pregnancy must be a planned something, because then there are always other consequences and options that people make that might not be suitable physically or morally.
Indeed.
Those are the fears I have for all women.
Right. So, Doc, let's just take our first quick commercial break. When we come back, I want us to spend a little time on, accidents and things like that can actually create a serious problem to our health system. Maybe people don't consider accidents as health, but it is. So, stay with us, folks. We'll be back with you in just a moment. We'll also open the telephone line a little later so you can call with your questions or contributions. So, we'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Diabetes, AIDS, cancer.
If there was ever a time to keep and stay healthy, it's now! We at Hills and Valley are here to help you take deliberate steps to maintain your health. We stayed true to maintaining the most comprehensive rates while stocking the widest range of medicines and health devices, including personal protective equipment. There are so many benefits shopping with us. You get great savings through discounts for senior citizens and reward cards for loyal customers. Ask about owning yours today. Visit us at Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George, Jubilee Street opposite the Grenville Bus Terminal, and at Hillsborough, Carriacou. Our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street also stocks the widest range of pharmaceuticals. We are with you on the hills and in the valleys. We are Hills and Valley Pharmacy.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment. As you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest, visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
After 2 years of no mass, no bacchanal, and no vibe, are you ready to be thrilled again? Well, get ready for Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass. And this year will be the most amazing return ever. Amazing Colors presents Trilogy. Wanna play Monday Night Mass? Then it's easy. Call 415-6174. It's Amazing Colors Trilogy. Unlimited drinks all night. It's Amazing Colors Trilogy. Monday Night Mass. It will be amazing.
Here is a little known fact. There is only one place in Grenada that you can get an MRI scan done. That place is Spicile Imaging Center. Yes, Grenada, that's the truth. Other centers could offer you other scans, but Spicile Imaging provides an authentic MRI scan. Here's another little known fact. Spicile Imaging has 3 centers. We operate at Grenville, the Carnage, and at the Ocean House, Grandlands. We provide the widest range of laboratory tests and services. CT scans, x-rays, mammograms, ultrasounds, and a host of other services. We are fully staffed by a team of family doctors and specialists. Call us today at 444-7679. or 406-1500, or visit any of our 3 locations. Spicile Imaging, from seeing the doctor to getting lab tests, scans, and pharmacy services. We are here to take care of you.
Drug abuse.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Doctor and Call. Dr. Sonia Nixon with us. Just in case you weren't with us from the start, and of course we're happy to have you. We're talking about some habits that you can be mindful of, and actions you can take or not take, especially around this time, because it's Carnival. Doc, with all that's happening, of course, we We know accidents do happen and all of that. And of course, COVID is still around. Maybe not as bad as it was, but what we do know, these viruses, they can mutate, and we don't know, how it may affect different individuals. So we must still be mindful of that. And of course, there are other emerging diseases that we have to be mindful of. Yes.
Yes, there are other emerging diseases, some of which do not have a vaccine or have any way of preventing them, except that being aware and doing whatever isolation you need to do. And case in point, we have monkeypox.
Right.
And for those who want to come with the conspiracy theories, keep it to yourself, because monkeypox is real, just as COVID was real. There hasn't been a lot of conspiracies against it simply because you can see monkeypox. But it's like having a toothache. You can't see it, but it's there. Right? Monkeypox is just declared as a global
emergency.
A global emergency. It means that's the same thing we were told in December on December 30th. 2019, 31st. Do you remember that?
Yep.
When
yes.
They had talking about COVID, and by end of January, middle of February, it was pandemic. Okay, it was all over the world. 74 countries or more already have seen the presence of monkeypox. About 20,000 people may have been diagnosed. Monkeypox kills 11% of the people that get it. Okay, the possibility. They think a lot of it is related to sexual contact. But I've heard one young man who was a highly suspected and positive case in one of the islands say that, look, you just have to have easy contact with the person, right? So I'm going to tell people, be careful. We get high and we want to ramage and get on and rub up on everybody. Ask them to show you that they're monkeypox free before you go and wind up on them.
Yes, indeed. No, I mean, it is serious. It is serious.
I'm not joking.
It is serious. And people need to pay.
You're responsible for yourself. Everybody needs to learn that you are responsible for yourself when you go out there. I want you to have fun, but like if you think you're a big person, go and have fun like big people. Responsible. Simple as that.
Yes, indeed. Doc, maybe as you mentioned that, let me just share a little thing from the WHO website. Just briefly, folks, it says, since early May 2022, cases of monkeypox have been reported from countries where the disease is not endemic and continue to be reported in several endemic countries. Most confirmed cases with travel history reported travel to countries in Europe and North America rather than West or Central Africa. Let me just move on again. Most reported cases so far have been identified through sexual health or other health services in primary or secondary healthcare facilities and have involved mainly, not exclusively, men who have sex with men. So just a little bit of information, and that's from the World Health Organization website. And of course, folks, it's important that you get as much information as possible as you can on monkeypox, because you just want to have information so you know how to protect yourself. Yeah,
it's important that people not get scared, but people get informed. Just how you
That's right. Yes.
I keep telling people this is the greatest tool we all have. Get on your phone, Google it. Go to WHO, go to CDC, go to WHO, go to CDC, go to other places.
There are excellent sites like WebMD, Healthline,
Mayo Clinic.
These are excellent,
Make it
and
very simple.
Yes, and credible sites.
Because I go to those easy sites first before I go to the complicated sites where I get all the numbers and the statistics and all the discussions and stuff.
That's right.
The truth, yeah. the truth is that it is real, people, and you have to protect you. We're just telling you what to do, right? What you can do, because you can protect yourself. Again, we don't have facilities. We don't have very much isolation facilities, and people have to be managed in isolation facilities. You can't travel for a little while until you're clear. Let's try and avoid putting more burden on the health services than it really requires. Let's make sure that fun is really just good, clean fun, because being in a carnival can be the best carnival in the Caribbean.
Yes, indeed.
So we talked about taking care of yourself. We talked about food. We talked about protecting yourself. Look, it's hot. It's hot out there, okay?
Yeah.
It is very hot. It is hotter than it was last year, much hotter than it was 2 years ago, and even much hotter than it was 3 years ago.
Well, Doc, you remember a couple of days ago, last week, the United Kingdom recorded the hottest day ever. Ever.
When the train stopped and people couldn't get food, and places where they had the roads melting.
Yes.
When the tarmac was melting, that's heat. That's bona fide heat. I know we probably need to tell Donald Trump that, hey, see global warming there? It really exists.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't believe in that.
And the naysayers, it's really, really very hot. Okay, so we have to protect ourselves. There are things like dehydration, but then there are more things like heat stroke and stuff, which is potentially deadly. Okay, so if you're exposed to heat, you have to, get some shade. Please wear your sunblock, because it's important. As dark as we are, protect yourself from sunburn, but protect yourself from that dehydration and stuff that comes with the heat that is in the atmosphere currently.
Yes.
If you're feeling tired, you start getting confused or anything, tell them to take you to the hospital, because it can be that much. Heat stroke can kill.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So please, I'm going to ask you, and I expect band leaders and stuff to at least brief the people who they're going to be on the road with and ensure that they have enough fluids for proper hydration along the road and all the rest. Those of us who stand up watching Carnival might be dancing and stuff too, so make sure you consume enough fluids. And the children, please, again, I'm making a petition for the children that they also are protected. Now,
yes.
You go to a party, right? In a place that you've never been before. And you have on your 6-inch heel, your nice Louis Vuitton red bottom that you paint with nail polish, was red bottom nonetheless. And you're going up to this party with your high heel and your fancy shorts. Why? If you go into a place you've never been before, why would you wear shoes that can be uncomfortable? It's nice looking stylish, but please be practical. Okay? It's rainy time. Most of our fêtes are outside. You don't want to break your foot while you're up in Mardi Gras, in Grand Bras or Sotiers or wherever they have parties. Even in the park, and you live in Sotiers. Or in the Sotiers and you live in St. George's. You don't want to have to do that, right? Remember that the health services will give priority to the things that are more lethal, where people have a greater potential for dying. Okay, so remember that.
Right. Doc, while you're on that, a lot of times around this period, we tend to go to fetes all about. So we hear you have a fete someplace, a big fete, and you're going, but you're not even sure where you're going.
You don't even know where is that? All the going are going to?
That's it. And sometimes, you go, and when you're not familiar with the places, if you're driving, you're not familiar with the road or roads, and it can result in accidents. All of these little things are important to give consideration to.
It is very important to give consideration. Going out of town, again, no. You don't want to become disoriented at any point. You don't want to be intoxicated when you reach there and can't find your way out, and you don't know where the big pothole, or you don't know where the drop on the side of the road, where the part of the bridge is broken, okay? Or you just can't see because it's so dark, or the night when light goes because so much big systems on the system, and you have to drive home on a road that you're unfamiliar with.
Or it's raining extremely heavy, visibility is extremely poor.
So there are a lot of situations that can occur that can make you become unsafe. Pack your car and sleep. drive to the police station and sleep. Okay? Lie down in your car and wait till everything clears up before you get back on the road. Wear comfortable shoes to drive. You cannot drive well in high heel shoes. Make sure you have driving shoes. And above all, make sure that the person, go with your friends, go together, support each other, share the driving if nobody's drinking. But the person who's a designated driver must not have a beer, must not have any alcohol, and must also be a proficient driver. You can't be the designated driver when you get your driver's license last week. Okay? You must be somebody who's a competent driver. So, guess what, guys? Get a bus driver, and 20 you go on the bus, and you pay him, and you go to party, and you drop all you home in the morning, and everybody's safe. Okay? Find ways to ensure that you're safe. All right? Make sure that when you go to a place that find out, are there going to be places for me to sit down? You know? Are there sufficient bathrooms? Are the bathrooms sanitary? Because those are the things that the health services are supposed to ensure exists for you. Because I'm supposed to tell the Ministry of Health, I want to have a party. I'm going to have, maybe I'll have 600 people come in. But the place cannot hold 600 people. Right? There is the fire chief will say, only 400 people should be in here, no more than that, because you need to have a certain amount of square footage per person, right? It must be a safe building that wouldn't fall on your head. You must have running water, electricity, enough lit up place so you can ambulate everywhere to and from. You must be able to leave and enter without encumbrances. There mustn't be any bungling to get into the place. Form a line, everybody can go in, right? And if you get in there and people behaving badly, jump in your car and go to your house. Or
That's another thing, Doc. And I'm glad you mentioned this, because there are some places in Grenada where they have these big fetes, and your entrance and exit, same road, very narrow. Then of course there are some people, they would park up on the side of the road, so probably half of the road gone, and it's a problem. If there is an emergency, what happens?
Well, whoever's at the end of the emergency up the creek without a paddle. So people who are planning parties have a responsibility to ensure that the destination is safe in all aspects. Safe in getting there, safe in leaving, having enough people can identify where the exits are if they want to leave, and they can leave with urgency. Look, I sit in my office, you all of us, I sit in my office 12 o'clock in the day, and I feel like the building in which I live knock against a big stone. I kid you not. I know my building's on the seaside, right? So I feel like it knock against us. I said, what is this? And then the building start dance. What do you think will happen if an earthquake happens in the middle of the night? People are going to panic. The possibility for stampeding. You know what happens in stampedes? People dead.
Yeah.
Because people panic. And sometimes, even if you decide to not panic, other people run into you. The crowd just runs
Yes,
everywhere.
you can get trampled. You go in this big fat fight, break out, everybody running, bottle pelting, this happening, problems.
God forbid that some people get so drunk that they can't control themselves and they start fight, and who pull out gun and who shoot, and who go looking for their girlfriend, boyfriend, and who go looking for their boyfriend, girlfriend, or who go looking for their husband, girlfriend, or who go looking for the husband, whoever they're looking for, right? And people go there vex and come to make mash-up party. Okay? You have to be careful that you can get in and out safely. Your safety is what's most important when you're going somewhere. Make sure you dress appropriately. If you go out in the night and they have bush on the side, guess what? If they have bush on the side, they have mosquito. Okay? If there's bush on the side, so you need to know where you're going. If there's bush on the side, and you ask, what is it like? Is there proper lighting? Do they have mosquitoes? Are they going to make sure that the mosquitoes are kept at bay? That's the responsibility of the party providers to ensure that people are not going to get bitten by mosquito, etc. That when they go into the bathroom, they don't have to skip over running water, sewage water, and all those. Those little things are very important for people's own safety. Okay? Because you don't want to get any disease. Any infectious diseases. I talked about TB. We do have what we call endemic TB. There are few people who have TB, meaning that TB has been here, but it's controlled. It's there, and if the conditions arise, it can come out. Like Zika has been here. There is endemic Zika. There is still Zika that exists around. We haven't seen it. You might see one or two mild Zika. Like COVID will become endemic soon, something that is in the country, but it's not always, in large amounts like we had recently. There there is endemic TB. Guess what? TB is one of the most difficult diseases to treat currently because there's so much drug-resistant TB. There are other infections that are also resistant to drugs, and we've seen it in the last few years. The discussion about drug, meaning medicine-resistant bacteria, etc., that used to be able to take care of. Like simple STDs, like, well, when syphilis was simple, you can treat it easily. When gonorrhea was simple, now most of those diseases are resistant to the regular medications, the regular antibiotics. We have not done any new antibiotics from the devil was a boy, a young boy too, right? So guess what? There are diseases that we can contract if we're not careful, right? And we see even some of the foodborne diseases that in other countries where they've had big things like football and going to Hajj and all the rest of it, where people get sick, right? And it's difficulty to treat. Football, Olympics, all of these big places where lots of people are, that people get infections that are very difficult to treat. Think about it.
Indeed.
Right? Going into dirty pools, getting meningitis and all the rest of it. We have to, and while we don't have endemic meningitis, somebody can come from foreign with their meningitis and put it in a swimming pool. And everybody gets sick over the holiday. No need to go into a murky pool. One of those things we have to learn. What are my risks when I go out to a place where there are crowds? Go on, Google it, because we don't want to lose anybody. We want people to go home and go back, refresh. We want people to go back to work in September, refresh.
You know, and Doc, this is not to frighten anyone, but this is it's a reality. It's information that we need to have and understand so that we are in a better position to protect ourselves. That's what it is, you know. So
the other thing is, no, I saw the guy, a friend of mine posted on Facebook what it costs to go to all them show. And then he posted what it costs to do the shows with your guys, I guess on pay-per-view, because there is actually pay-per-view, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then I said to him, all right, so I go into Fed Week, all you're going to take care of the children, right? since holiday home, just to look after the children. But the truth is, it's a lot of money. What it costs to take your partner, to go with your woman or your man, you know, your partner, whoever your partner is, right? And it's a lot of money.
Of course, it's a lot of money.
After August and September, and you still have, again, you have your car mortgage, you have your house mortgage, you have your rent, you have your office rent, you have your school books, uniform. Please don't put the government under pressure to provide, to make sure because we have to be responsible. We have to make sure the children are outfitted for school in September. And you still need to buy food for the next month.
Yes.
Okay, so please don't take all your money and buy, not even say much. I've seen some $1,000 that I can't even read for costumes. If you have it saving from the last 2 years, but no, I'm going to ask people to make conscientious decisions to play Carnival. Make very conscientious decisions to play Carnival because the costumes are expensive. Do not stress yourself trying to look like your friend. And when your friends go back to foreign and they spend strong dollars, you still have your little pittance that doesn't reach to do what you want to do. Okay? Please do not stress yourself to go to Carnival and to go to every single show. Yes, you might want to go to a show or two, but you don't have to go to every single show. You're not even going to remember which one you went to and which one you didn't go to if you went to all of them. Find the two where you think you can find, the most thing. And think about, I have expenses. I have a life to run. Right? I have a family to take care of, especially all men who all over the place palavering and probably have 2 girls, sorry for you, or 3, too bad. The truth is that we have other responsibilities as adults that we have to. And not the least of which is buying our medications if we sick. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to be very responsible. Also, people who have mental health issues also need to be taking their medications. You can't stop taking it. So if you have depression or you have schizophrenia, bipolar illness or anxiety, whatever, anything that you're taking medications for, you need to take a medication. Not expose yourself to the sleeplessness and the fatigue and the being everywhere and the dehydration, because you are going to become sick. Right? You are going to become sick, and that's not. We know that becoming decompensated when you have mental illness is not pretty. Not for us to look at, not for you to experience. Right? So please don't stop taking your medication. Thank you.
That's right. So, folks, our telephone line is open. The number is 435-2041. You can give us a question. If you have any calls, you can definitely do so. All right, so let's go to the telephone. We have a first caller on the line. Doctor and Call, good evening. Hello?
Hello, good night.
Yes, good evening, caller.
Yes, and good night to you and good night to Dr. Nixon. I'm glad that you share some of the tips that you give, including the safety part of it, in terms of the buildings and even the mosquitoes and so on, because these are things people don't really pay attention to. I raised it last week on a different program with the police, and unfortunately, either she didn't have enough time or the announcer did not allow her to answer. Anyway, because so many buildings in Grenada are tragedy waiting to happen, partly because how they were constructed in the past, and even as we build them now, we don't really take the health and safety issue in consideration. In relation to the soft drink, doctor, one of the disadvantages that people have in drinking carbonated drinks is that it affects, and correct me if I'm wrong, it affects the physiology in that after you drink a carbonated drink, it can make you feel kind of weakish to your limbs, because that would affect the calcium in your bones and everything like that. I think maybe you might want to encourage people to avoid drinking as much carbonated drink, especially if they want to rebel, because it might make them feel weak, and so that's one. The other thing about it is the heat, doctor. I mentioned it a few weeks ago. It is a fact that the heat is already affecting people, and for the last week in particular, even today, I mean, I've had to drink so much water, and I'm not spending much time outside. I was speaking to a number of people, both here and in Barbados. But a friend of mine told me she was having headaches, which I'm also having too. I've had to drink so much water. And I think we need to try to get people to understand that this thing is a real thing, and even though we may not have it as severe as you have it in those so-called first-world countries and other parts of the world, we have to start, responding. Last week on the BBC, I heard one person in Spain say that right now, as much as 500 people could be dying a week from heat-related matters, but which is now being checked at the moment. We don't know who are dying from heat or who are getting sick from heat, and we really need to maybe have a concerted effort to make people realize it is really serious. Especially for people who live in urbans like me in Nakalom. Thank you. There are much more things I can talk about, but maybe later on, if much people in calling, I'll call back. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah,
all right.
And our caller has actually been listening and shows genuine concern for the things that we are showing concern for. We're going to have to do, I think the ministry should really do ongoing reminders during this time.
Yes, indeed.
Have fun, have safe fun. And the things about what to drink. And I understand what he says about soft drinks. You get what you call a beastly cold soft drink, and you feel like it cool you down, but then 5 minutes later you cannot need the next one because spike your sugar and your sugar come down and you have that crunch and you need another one. So those are the things. And so even for people who don't have diabetes and stuff, drinking too much sodas is not the way to go. Drinking too much, consuming too much sugar is not the way to go, because your children get irritable and they want to go home when you give them too much drink. They want to lie down, they want to sleep, they want to go home, want you to raise me, and it makes that, it makes the fun not so fun anymore for all of us. So thank you.
Yes, indeed. So folks, it's very, very important to pay attention. Let's go back to the telephone and see who's with us. Doctor and Call, good evening. Hello?
Hello, GBN?
Yes, Doctor and Call, good evening.
Yes, good evening. I have a question I want to raise with the doc. The matter of the extreme heat that we find ourselves in, right? There's a practice among ourselves to try to drink a lot of cold beverage and not necessarily water when it's very hot, right? And I remember some years ago, I was in the Middle East and I had a friend who got extremely ill because he was drinking a lot of cold beverage and it was extremely hot, right? And we went to the hospital and this African doctor said to us that no. What you have to do is to drink something that is a bit warm. So your body's temperature, the internal temperature, is about the same as the external temperature. So you wouldn't find yourself wanting to drink as much or consume as much cold beverage. Could the doctor basically respond to this and maybe advise? Because it's something that I have noted, but I know in the Caribbean we tend to say, oh, it's hot, so you drink a lot of cold beverage.
So, thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
Doc?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
All right. So, the truth is, that is a very valid point, that drinking something warm when you're hot can make a difference. Don't remember how the physiology go, but that has been proven true. Okay? The other thing is that when you're drinking warm drinks, it cannot dilate your blood vessels and that helps you to cool down faster.
Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yes.
So I want to talk about, one of the places we go a lot when we come to visit, when in this time is go on the beach.
Yes.
So you have 5,000 people on the beach. Is there a lifeguard? Okay? You want to go where there's a lifeguard. You don't want to be drinking a lot and go into the water. I have seen, the waves that come across, right, and take people out to sea on Van Nuys Beach. And I could not believe, I used to love to go there as a child. And I see different behaviors of the sea. And I want people to be aware everywhere you go that you have to look out for things that are not normal, okay? The sea temperature is different, so they have a lot of sargasso weed. The water is different, so they might have other bacteria that is there. And of course, if you go to a pool, even to a pool, make sure there's a guard, make sure the pool is crystal clear. Ask when is the last time this pool was sanitized, and chlorinated, and make sure that the pump is going, right? It mustn't look like somebody tried to put a milk in there at any time. Even a little bit of milk, right? It must be crystal clear, like fresh water, like when rainwater fall in galvanized buckets. You know how that look, right?
Oh, yes.
That's what we want. Crystal clear, a swimming pool, right? And you must ensure that they've been chlorinated, that they've cleaned, that they've taken out, the vents are working well and everything. Because, yeah, it's nice hanging out by the pool in your sexy swimsuit with the body that you work so hard to make it look, but it'll be hard that body goes into a box.
Doc, I know what I'm going to say might be a little unpopular, but, one of the biggest things in our carnival is the jab. And I have no problem with any jab.
Jab, okay, because I like jab.
Yeah, no. I have no problem with jab. I like to see them. But the oil and so that is placed on the skin, we know it is probably not the best practice. But if you had to advise in terms of the length of time, and this is where I'm going there, the length of time that you keep it on the skin, what would you suggest? I mean, people, you want to play a jab, all right, fine, no problem. But there are risks involved. What is the suggested time, Doc?
Let me take the light side of it. First of all, these days, all of us play corporate jab, where we have on all we clothes and put like a black thing and we think we play in jab. Most of us. Thank God. Second of all, I think we should have, and most seriously, I think that it's about time because jab is so popular, everybody comes to Grenada to play Grenada jab. Grenada jab is phenomenal. There's nothing like Grenadian jab nowhere in the world. That's true. There is nothing like Grenadian jab anywhere in the world, especially jab that walk and just move and draw a train and don't talk to nobody. They just chant and walk past. I think it's phenomenal, right? However, we should have been doing research on what are the contents of this stuff and the possibility. That's one. I think this is a good thing for the health services, for the medical people to be doing research. Okay, research people, public health people, to figure out what's in it and what are the potential, especially people who do environmental health, right? Mm-hmm. And because we don't know, we must be very cautious. I think a couple of hours may not kill us, but also you have to make sure that when we bathe, that we clean our pores.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because some of us just wash out, run in the sea can't take out jab oil, okay? Please do not mess up the carnage. Kill off all the fish in the carnage. Listen to me. Sea cannot clean out jab thing. You go up in your yard and you wash and you make it go down in a little drain and stay in some place that doesn't go into the ocean or anywhere, right? But wash with things that can clean your body. Use ordinary oil first of all to emulsify the old oil that you have on your skin, and then use a strong soap and clean your skin off properly, and make sure that final water and that towel that you use finally is white, is clean. As you still have oil on your skin, you have to remove all the oil, because whatever stays there is going to be absorbed into a body that you don't need. So don't do it for too long, and make sure that you clean yourself properly. So you shouldn't be, when you wake up in the morning, your pillowcase is not supposed to have any marks on it. You have to clean yourself properly, like you have not had anything on your skin.
Okay, wonderful. Let's go to a telephone. We have a caller. Doctor and call. Good evening. Hello.
Yes, again, Godfrey, in terms of the doctor mentioned about the oil on the skin, this is something I've been concerned for years, and I've raised issue over that from an environmental point of view. And my organization, Front of the Earth, over the years have asked for what we call an environmental and impact assessment on Carnival, to see what impact it's having on the environment and, of course, the people. And maybe, as the doctor said, you should probably find a way, if you want to continue playing jobs, you have to have some kind of material that is not harmful to the environment or harmful to the person who's playing it, who's using it. There was a couple other points I wanted to make. The program is an excellent program, Doctor, but I'm afraid some of the people need to hear what you're saying are not listening at the moment. And how do we get people? Because I suppose most people listening are people who are already they have some sense of agencies of responsibility. But the people who really need to get the message you're delivering, how do we get them?
Well, they're probably in some party tonight, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that maybe we need to start before, long before, and probably go in strategic places and areas for them to really get them, and maybe also work along with the organizers and things. Because, it's one thing enjoying yourself, and next thing, you're getting sick and dying. I've been thinking about this over the years. And so many people are dying from cancer. Is it because we're doing something wrong at a certain particular time in the year? There are other factors other than that. And finally, in relation to the coal thing that they call alcohol, I do agree. In fact, we should have learned from the Chinese and the Japanese, who don't drink anything cold. I'm told by people, and I've read it in books, that when you drink cold thing, and for that matter, I'm not drinking it, and I don't have, when my fridge was operated, which I don't have one right now, I never have water cold. I never use any cold drinks, to the disappointment of people who would come by me and want something cold, because I learned that it can affect and contribute to even heart problems, because when you drink it, the demand on that part of your body, your stomach and so on, is so high in terms of rearranging itself or adjusting. You might want to talk on that also. Thanks for your indulgence.
Thank you very much, caller. Thanks a lot indeed.
Thank you, sir.
Doc?
He spoke about the water. There was a topic before this. I kind of got a little lost.
He made mention of the things that the jab use and environmental.
Right. So that's a very good point. But you see, Carnival is not only about the health services and Ministry of Culture. Carnival is everybody's business, because guess what? At the end of the day, Ministry of Agriculture have to make sure we have enough food to cook oil on and all the rest of it. That, there's food on the island, and that, there's Ministry of Finance, there's all the ministries. Ministry of Health has its role, but everybody has a role. This is a national event, okay? This is a time when we have a lot of income coming into the country. Guess what we have coming into this country at this time? We have all of SGU students coming back who are going to want to experience Carnival and who are going to be very naive, because a lot of the people who are coming, most of the people who are coming are actually new. So they don't know anything. They haven't lived the Carnival here before. Some of them maybe, but very few. Most of them are new students, and they're very new. They don't know the thing. So all of this information should have been already transmitted through Ministry of Tourism, through Ministry of Health, through Ministry of Agriculture, through everybody. Here's what we do at Carnival, through the Finance Ministry. Here's how you stay safe. How do you keep your money how do you, how you're going to spend? How you buy this, how you do that, right? What are the taxes that you have to pay for XYZ? You buy a costume, yes, there must be VAT on it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People have to be informed as to what it is. And maybe just Ministry of Culture, above all, should be the leader in all of this, because I can tell you something, Carnival ain't going nowhere, okay? As proven last year, when people decided, even against the exhortation, please do not play any mass, that is still going to play jab. Mm-hmm. And play whatever they play Monday and Tuesday, that really could have waited so we could have 200 extra people alive in Grenada today. Right? And I'm not cussing anybody, it's just the truth. All right. It was there to be shared.
Yeah. Let's get back to the telephone, Doc. Dr. Call, good evening.
Yes, good afternoon to you, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Yes.
Caller, hello. Yeah, can you turn the volume of your device down? I'm not sure if it's your radio or your television. It's way too loud. We're not hearing you. We're getting a feedback.
I apologize for that.
Yeah. So you need to listen to us on the phone, but turn the volume of your device down.
Yes, I apologize.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon again. I now listen. This is not a rebuttal, but I'm just, to me, it's really making no sense at all. I am not a supporter of Carnival in any way. However, this statement was made by the brother who now mentioned the oil on the jab skin and problem to the environment and what have you. This does not make any sense, with all my respect, whatsoever, simply because you have all this garage all over the country. And when we go and change our oil in these different garages, we are not concerned of where these people throw their oil. So Carnival or jab is only 1 day or 2 days, so to speak. And when this little dust of oil, in my humble opinion, goes on the jab skin, what we throw away in terms of the engine oil each and every day in this country has a more serious diabolic effect if we so want to put it on the environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Thank you. So I know that I remember a couple years ago talking to people from St. Paul's jab, right? That they were doing new stuff. They were using just regular coals dust and the usual lard oil, mm-hmm. regular cooking oil, right? To make their thing, to get us environmentally as well as safe mm-hmm. for human beings, the consumption.
And this is what my concern really is, huh?
Right? The safe for the human. No, and the gentleman is right about the environmental and that it goes beyond just Carnival. Both of them are equally correct. Okay, while we're talking, one person is speaking in the context of Carnival and one person is speaking in a broader context. That we don't really have any way for disposing of used engine oil. So jab find a way to use it. On a serious note though, I know that there are people who have been looking for safer, what they consider safer, even without checking, innocuous, unlikely to cause damage compounds. And so good old coals dust, right, and lard oil was what came up as one of the options. Just getting it to have the right combination in order so you can have jab like we used to do when you were a child. Jab use coals dust and lard on.
We used to use Cliff.
No, that's
you go by the river, you get Cliff, and then you just
country that tongue jab don't do.
What tongue don't have jab no, and no disrespect. If you want a jab you have to come in Tivoli, doc.
Oh, you haven't been to Willis and St. David.
No. I listen. You know, and folks, that is not in any way changing the program. If you want,
but on a serious note, we have to get to safety.
Tivoli.
Yes, but we have to get to safety, and I agree with the people who are expressing concerns for both personal and environmental safety. It's something. Because, like I tell you, Carnival ain't going nowhere, you know. So we have to make sure that we make it the best it is.
Yes.
We have to make sure that it's the best that it can be.
Right, indeed. Well, Doc, I tell you what, we're getting close to wrap up time, but I would really want us just to briefly just recap a couple of the important points we raised earlier as it relates to some of the areas that we need to pay attention to, like what we eat, drink, the behaviors, quickly before we wrap for this evening.
All right, this is a great time of the year, okay? I'm glad that my friends come to have fun. I'm glad my family's here. Some of them bring things in their suitcase that I get. No, we see the auntie and the uncle and our friends that we haven't seen for a long time. This is a nice time. This is good family time for Grenadians, okay? But it's also Carnival, which is one of the things that we enjoy. We have an influx of people. Some people know about it, some people hear about it, and they have to be here because they hear Grenada Carnival is the best in the Caribbean. And indeed it is, okay? But the point is, we have to understand that there are things that we have to take into consideration in order that we can enjoy Carnival and survive it, in order that we don't do any harm to ourselves or anybody else. First of all, being responsible for yourself, knowing that it is hot times, I must keep hydrated. I must protect myself from getting infectious diseases. I must take control of my chronic diseases that I have. I must make sure I eat safe food. I must make sure that my children are safe when I'm going to party. Do not lock your children in house and leave candle lighting or that they can reach the thing so they can burn their little selves to cinders. No, thank you. Because nobody's going to be happy with you. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. If you feel you have to go to a show, ask Miss Mabel next door. Be nice to your neighbor so she has no problem with the children coming over to her house. Okay? We have to live good in the year so that Carnival is happy for all of us. All right? Not everybody likes Carnival. Please remember the noise. Sometimes you have parties just on the periphery or in the middle of what you call it? In the middle of residential areas, and people can't sleep. Guess what? You can party, but I need to sleep because I don't want to go to a party. So we must be conscionable and we must cooperate to ensure that even if I want to have fun, I must not disturb the people who do not want to have fun the way I do. Alcohol is okay, but in very moderate amounts. Okay? Take your medication so you don't get sick. Drink a lot of water on the road. Take care of your children on the road if they're playing Carnival. Let them do so. Make sure that you know where you're going for Carnival. You don't have to wear high heel shoes or make sure that you're protected. Whatever you are, you're safe. When you get to a place, scout your environment. Or ask before, where's the bathroom? Are the bathrooms available? Are they healthy? Is there running water? Can I get to wash my hand? Where's the exit? Where's the entrance? Right? You don't want anybody smoking up in your face. People want to smoke, go in the corner and smoke on your own. You want to make sure that the food is safe, that the food is, ask the man who's selling pan chicken, which it doesn't matter how nice it is, may I please see where is your food handler's permit? I asked a guy on the carnage one night, him nearly dead. He was starting to tremble. He said, Mr. Harvard, I said, yeah, let me see. Because I'm about to buy a piece of chicken for my 7-year-old nephew. Guess what? Set me up, nah, man. And he took it out and I said, look, you're supposed to have it displayed, right? If all of us on day one ask, if every vendor is asked, may I see your food handler's permit, please? Trust me, they will have it. And if they don't have it, say, thank you, I'll go elsewhere. I know that the health inspectors walk around and make sure that everybody is up to date with their health inspection. But please, we don't want to have diarrhea and vomits and other diseases that we can prevent if we do the right things. All right, carry your own water if you're not too sure, go and get water on the road. But there's always water, bottled water, which Grenada's bottled water is basically healthy. No drinking and driving. Drink water. The designated driver must also be experienced, apart from the fact that he's the person is not drinking tonight. And you can share it. It's my night tonight, your night tomorrow night. Do whatever you have to. Don't go places that you don't know. Don't go out with people that you don't know. Be safe, okay? Watch your inebriation. Watch how much you get drunk so that you're not abused, male or female, physically, sexually, or otherwise, okay? So that you're not robbed of your money. Because you need to have money on the road if you're going to buy stuff. I tell the pan chicken man don't have no credit card machine, so you need a little money to buy your stuff, right? Stick to your friends, hang around your friends, and when you're in a group with a friend, make sure you stay in your group. Don't go with strange people, especially if you've been drinking, male, female, or otherwise, okay? Please don't pee on the road. Find sanitary, the Ministry of Health and Tourism should provide appropriate sanitary facilities for people who come to see Carnival. It's about time we did that. You don't have to expose yourself on the road. This is kind of be lifting. I don't want to see you in your nice suit tomorrow morning after I see you stood down by the side of the road peeking. Sorry. All right, that's indignifying. Find a place to go and pass your urine. All right, those are just normal body functions that we need to do, but we must still maintain our dignity. When Wednesday morning after Carnival come, I must still have my blood sugar normal, my blood pressure normal, right? I must be looking like somebody can identify me. I must have enough money to pay my bills. I must not be stressed out. I must have taken my my medications for my mental problems. If I'm depressed, if I have schizophrenia, doesn't really matter. I must be well on Wednesday morning, recuperated to go back. And certainly not at St. George's Hospital or down by Lacroix, because they don't refuse.
Right, indeed. So, Doc, I just want to thank you again, and of course to those of you listening with us, our friends on our Facebook platform and YouTube platform, we thank you for staying with us, and we just want to again remind you, we are in the Carnival season. Use best practices. Yeah.
And one thing I want to say: sometimes people get upset. The Ministry of Health has a responsibility to ensure that standards are maintained. So sometimes the rules might seem unfair, or there's no need to bend the rules at this time. As a matter of fact, the rules should be even more stringent because more people are going to try to bend them. Like one person goes to the bathroom at a time, or you have to wash your hands properly, or you have to, how much people could go into because the fire chief will say this place cannot facilitate 400 people. Only 300 people are going to be allowed into the party. And when the fire chief come and lock it down because you have 600 people, don't say anything. All right, find out how many people are going to be there. Stick to the rules. The rules are made to keep us safe. Mm-hmm. The rules are made to keep us happy, to make us enjoy ourselves to the maximum, to make sure that when we finish, we can just go home without any problem.
Yeah, and the thing is, we never seem to realize it until something happens.
Tragic happens.
Yeah. So, Doc, thank you so much again. We look forward to next Tuesday. Is what next Tuesday? Yes, maybe. Yes, folks. So, continue to stay with us. Of course, we continue to provide you with programs that can provide information and of course help to uplift. Yeah, so thank you for staying with us, and remember to exercise good judgment at all times. Until tomorrow, please God, do have a good night. All the best.
Cancer,
measles, diabetes,